Welcome to Inside the Vandals, brought to you by the Coeur d'Alene Casino Hotel and Resort. I'm Braden Kane.
And I'm Zach Kellogg.
The men were on the road in Ogden, Utah, facing off against Weber State. They were down 4 players due to injury in that game. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. Zach, the women were here at home. Tell us about that game.
Yeah, it was a real back and forth battle. Both teams really firing off from 3. Idaho was able to make it interesting down the stretch, though. Our own Micah Hamilton gives us the details now from that game.
Joined now by head coach Paul Petrino. Coach, clearly an exciting game last Saturday, completing the comeback victory. Tell me some of the things you were telling your team that last 7 minutes of the game before the block punt, down 10 points.
You know, we kind of talked about it all week that it was going to be a tough game. You know, they're a top 25 team. We knew they're just a hard-nosed, tough team that's going to just try to bang and fight. And we just talked about being brave, really. That was the message of the week, be brave. Be brave enough to keep fighting the whole game, brave enough to stand up and hit them as hard as they try to hit you. And let's go out there and fight the whole game, and no matter what, believe in the process and keep fighting. And we thought all week long we were going to block a punt, so we thought that was going to be a difference and help us, and it ended up being it.
Joined now by head coach Don Verlin. Coach, as always, thank you for joining us on the show.
You're welcome.
A little bit of a different question here to start. Are you a snow guy? Are you liking this weather?
Well, no, not really. I'm originally from California, and but I don't mind the snow. I've lived here long enough now, but we've obviously got quite a bit of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm right on that same train with you, so there's one thing we have in common.
That's right.
Well, Zach, obviously the Splash Sisters on fire last Thursday night. Michaela Ferenc, 23 points away from being the Big Sky's all-time leading scorer. Exciting stuff for the women's team right now.
Yeah, they are going to try and pick up another win tonight here against Southern Utah. I had the chance to sit down with head coach John Newey, discuss what they'll need to do in order to come out with the win. Welcome back to Inside the Vandals, and as you saw going to the break, Gina Markson, in her first season, really performing at a high level. She had 8 points and 7 assists against Northern Arizona here on Thursday. She is really starting to thrive right now in that point guard position.
And always awesome to see a freshman step up like that and continue to do it throughout the season. Last Thursday, our men were on the road in Flagstaff. They were dealing with some tough weather as they got into town, about 2 feet of snow in Flagstaff. Our own George Smith with the details on that game. Joined now by Coach Zach Claus. Coach, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on the show.
Glad to be here, thank you.
We'll get right into it. Kind of just take me through the non-conference schedule. A little bit of a tough schedule for you guys, a little bit of a rough start, but kind of just tell me how the team's built some chemistry over that period coming into conference play. And Zach, awesome to see the men start to really compete in these last 3 games, losing by 9 to Southern Utah, 2 to Portland State, and then finally getting over the hill and beating Sacramento State. Let's hope they can pick up a couple more wins as they head into the Big Sky Conference Tournament next week.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see have some momentum going, like you said, into the conference tournament. But now looking back at the women's team, they had a lot of success. Everything's kind of clicking for them on all cylinders. Maybe there's also an extra that's helping them with this winning streak. Let's take a closer look inside the women's program.
Joined now by head coach Don Verlin. Coach, thank you as always for joining us on the show.
You're welcome.
So I heard that you guys had some travel woes over the weekend with these 2 road games. Kind of explain what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, we had a rough go, but it's kind of been our luck this year with travel. But we weren't able to depart Pullman on our scheduled flight because of a fog or a low ceiling. So we had to bus the team to Pasco. Then we flew out of Pasco to Seattle and got to our hotel in Sacramento about 1 a.m. So obviously a tough travel day. Didn't get an opportunity to practice on Wednesday before the Thursday Sacramento State game.
We'll get right into it. Last weekend was your first time coaching on a football field in the state of Montana in 25 years. What are your thoughts on that? How did it feel? Speaking of that learning curve and some of those new guys, how have they become adjusted to the team and just the style of play Coach Verlin has for this team so far this season? Welcome back to Inside the Vandals, brought to you by the Coeur d'Alene Casino Hotel and Resort. Well, Zach, it's always really cool to see a successful walk-on story like Chance's, only playing in 7 games last year, playing in 18 this year before the injury, and starting in 4 of those. Really shows that hard work pays off.
Yeah, like you said, a really cool story like that. But now transitioning to the women's team, they extended their win streak to 6 on the road last week. Michaela Ferenc reached a historic mark. I actually had the chance to sit down with head coach John Newey to discuss Michaela's accomplishment along with their tough road test against Northern Colorado and Eastern Washington.
You got Southern Utah Saturday on the road. Took a loss in the last game. You guys had a lot of turnovers in that game. What are some ways you can improve? Do you feel like that was credit to their defense, or is that you guys just being sloppy with the ball?
A little bit of both.
Well, Zach, a very prestigious thing to see one of our own Vandals be the 4th woman in collegiate D1 history to make 400 career threes. Definitely not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, just such a great accomplishment. I talked to head coach John Newey about Taylor reaching that mark, the wins on the road against Northern Arizona and Southern Utah, and the game tonight against Montana.
Not as much as he could have been if he was playing.
Most definitely. Well, without further ado, we'll take a closer look at senior Nate Sherwood. And this will be our last show of the season. We just want to thank everyone who tuned in throughout the season, and a big shout out to everyone who was working behind the scenes to help make this show possible.
Yeah, and big game here tonight, Idaho State. Hopefully we can finish this season off with a win. Doug Taylor with the call. For Inside the Vandals, I'm Zach Kellogg.
And I'm Braden Kane.
We'll see you all next time.
Joined by assistant coach Tim Murphy. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to start off this interview with just an evaluation of these last two games, considering some of the things that the team's been trying to work on this year: rebounding, turnovers, defense. Kind of just tell me how the team played these last two games. Well, that's all the questions I have for you this week, Coach. As always, once again, thank you for joining us on the show, taking time out of your day.
Hey, thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Up next, we take a look at two outstanding seniors on offense when we return. Idaho versus Portland State, right here in Cowan Spectrum. Chris King with the call. For Inside the Vandals, I'm Braden Kane.
And I'm Zach Kellogg.
And we'll see you guys next week.